Well, hello there. Kyle asked me to do a video on working on the heavy bag for you, and I'm sorry that it's been a few days. I've been kind of busy with the holidays and projects and family and kids and things like that. As you can see, I've got little projects going all kind of over the place. Oh yeah, there's that too. But here we are. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I had a couple of minutes, so I said, hey, let me go ahead and do this now. So I'm sorry for the delay and to be remiss. And I'm really not used to being on camera either. This is kind of weird for me. But let me walk you through some of the basic fundamentals, and maybe I'll have to break this into a few little segments. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really thought it through, but we'll just see how it goes. And let me see if I can just give you an idea on what the basics are when you're working on a heavy bag, because there are a lot of very simple mistakes that people tend to make. I'm going to put the camera down here and see if we can get this going. There's the bag over there. Okay. Just to get an idea of how to warm up to it, if nothing else. Now, you'll see that I have my hands wrapped. That's not necessary for what you're doing. The reason I have my hands wrapped right now is because I've broken this wrist in two places this year. I've broken this pinky, if you can see that guy, twice this year, and I've also broken this pinky. Only one of which was boxing related, by the way. The others were just weird mistakes. But despite that, you don't have to have hand wraps or boxing gloves or anything else to work on the bag. Remember that the wraps and the gloves are meant to protect your hands. They're not meant, let me stand back. See, I'm not good at video. They're not meant to let you hit harder. That's not the point. It's just meant to protect your hands as you're working through going on the bag. So with that said, and I'm sorry, it's really early and I'm sure the light is horrible in here, but we're just going to do the best that we can, and we'll see how it turns out. All right. Here's my bag. Oh, wait. Angle is completely wrong. Let's try again. This is a 60-pound Everlast heavy bag. You can use an 80 or 100-pound bag, or even a 60-pound slim bag, an MMA bag if you want to. The bag really is not even the most crucial point of what you're doing. What we're trying to do is we're going to get in a workout just with this as a target. So I can stand here all day long and punch on this bag and basically hurt my hands and do a bunch of nothing. Let's not do that. What we want to do is we want to get an exercise in, but we also want to combine the exercise with also the idea that, hey, I can also use this for maybe some self-defense training. So as we go through here, let's keep that in mind. As I go into the bag and we're going to start our workout, I'm not even going to touch the bag. Actually, I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. I'm sorry, I'm not good at video and I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I'm still trying to have my coffee. We're not really going to molest the bag in a big way. We're just going to start touching it. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start with my left hand. This would be my jab hand. And so as we're warming up, all I'm going to do is range the bag. I'm going to range it by sticking my hands out. You see, I'm not making a fist. My fingers are straight out. I'm just ranging it. And we're going to go out and touch the bag, and touch the bag, and I'm going to start moving. Think of this like a waltz, okay? I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. I don't know if you can't see my feet, but left step, right step, left step. What I'm not doing is standing in front of the bag, punching the bag, because that means the bag is going to be punching back if we were looking at it in a self-defense type situation or whatever. But as long as we're doing our exercise, we might as well be making it work to our advantage, that maybe, hey, I could also get some exercise in and learn how to maybe defend myself, that kind of thing. So we start with very simple left step, right step, but you're never standing on the X where you're just standing here going at the bag. Now, once again, the self-defense aside, that's also good because the heavy bag is a full body workout. It works your midsection, it works your hamstrings, your quads, your upper back, and your upper body, and your back, and your sorry brain, middle back. You're going to get a little bit of everything if you do all of the movements, but think of it like a dance. As we're working with the bag, it's like a dance. So I'm going to start, and I'll start without moving my feet here, and we're just going to touch the bag. Okay, so that's step number one, range, touch the bag. Step number two is to get the other hand up on your face. Oh, I guess my wife's up. And this does a number of things, which we can get into later, but just keep this hand up here, just like you're looking through a periscope. Okay, so we're going to periscope here, and we're just going to touch the bag. All right. So now I've got my range. So once we've done this for a couple of minutes, and take your time doing it, and just step around. You're doing the waltz around the bag. This is a good warm-up. It's a good warm-up for your legs. You can go southpaw and do it with your other hand. Okay, this is a good warm-up all over your body. All right? What we're not doing yet is punching. You don't get a workout from punching the bag. It may make you feel better, but it's not really going to help you out much. So if we're just looking at this from the idea of an exercise, let's start dancing with it. Very simple. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Thank you, Muhammad Ali. All right, so now we're to the point that we can touch the bag, and we're warming up our arms. My hand, I'm looking through my periscope here. And the reason for this is if somebody tries to do what they do in a fight and hit you with a haymaker, you've already got your hand up. And in the worst case scenario, where you really don't see it coming, if you already have your hand up, you just tip your head down, and what are they going to hit? Big cranium. And I know you guys, y'all got big craniums. That's a joke. It'll hurt your hand more than it'll hurt your head. So, just say it. So here we are. We're going to just assume what I call a football stance. And I'm assuming you guys watch football, where everybody gets down and they're ready to go and attack and everything else. Well, it's just one foot behind the other, about shoulder width, so that you're balanced on the balls of your feet. Okay, kind of like this. Do I look like Muhammad Ali? No? Okay. But just good defensive stance. So if I'm right-handed, I'm going to do this. If I'm left-handed, I'm going to do this. Same thing. Now, I can switch back and forth, and that's fine. But, you know, here we are. So what's going to happen is that if this bag were not a bag, if it were a person that was trying to punch my face in, once I get my stance, when the bag comes at me, I can very easily hold it off. All right, so now we're going to start working on the bag, but we're still not punching the bag, and there's a very good reason for that. We're still just going to touch the bag. What we're going to work up to, though, is this. Wait, I think my camera is not quite where I want it. See if we can zoom in on that a little bit. If you'll notice, right now I'm working with open hands. Okay, I'm touching on the bag like this. Now this is a good arm workout. It's great for your biceps and your triceps. But you're like, hey, I want to punch the bag. Well, okay, we're going to do that, but not yet. Because if you're looking at this from a defensive standpoint, I don't want to have my hands clenched up like this all the time because it takes away my tools. What I can do in my crouch, in my settled crouch with my hands open, if something was to come at me, I'm up here, I can deflect very easily anybody who's trying to punch me in the face. I mean, that's usually when people want to fight you, that's what's going to happen is what? The haymaker, right? They're going to load up and give you the haymaker. Well, yeah, what if I just duck in? So we're going to start with that. And this is the reason you don't even really need the gloves to work on the bag, not to start with, is that we're starting up here from our little raccoon stance or a periscope stance, and we're just going to touch on the bag and we're going to work on range. And everything I'm doing now has nothing to do with my hands. It has everything to do with my feet. I'm just imagining the bag coming at me from every different angle. And so all of my workout is on the bottom side. It's my leg workout, so I can warm that up. Now, once we get that done, and I would say spend probably 5 to 10 minutes doing that leg workout and getting yourself really loose. And before you go heavy on the top side on the bag, stretch your back out, lean down, do the sciatic stretch, do all of those things. Take your time. Don't get in a hurry. Everybody just wants to get in and start wailing on the bag. Don't do that. You want that finger? That's how you get that finger, is you just get in there and you start wailing on the bag. Don't do that. So we're going to take our time. Now, I've already spent probably 20, 30 minutes on the bag this morning, so I'm pretty warmed up. So now we're going to get to the point where we're actually touching the bag for a change. Woo! Isn't that special? So let's go ahead and get it steady. If strictly from a workout point of view, I'm going to take the same stance where my back is straight, my feet are planted shoulder width, and I'm going to start with this jab. That's what we're going to call it, this jab, but my hands aren't closed. Once I get comfortable with that, what I'm going to do, and my hands are still open, I just put them on my head here like I'm thinking, okay, but this is a great defensive position, is as I go towards the bag, I'm going to get this much closer, and before I touch the bag, I'm going to close my fist. And when we close our fist, we're going to want it to look like that, okay? And where we want to hit the bag is right there. We do not want to hit the bag over here. That will give you what is called a boxer's fracture, which is what I also have. You can't see it for the wrap, but yeah, I have one of those too. When you come in and hit the bag on the weakest knuckle, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're just going to break your hand. So now we're going from doing a dance with the bag The bag is punching back at me, so I'm getting my leg workout in. Okay, I'm leading off, left, 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 and come in with a right, but I'm out of here. Okay, I can get more advanced as we go on, but for now we're just touching. Okay, so now we're going to start punching the bag. So as my hand goes from up here or here to the bag, I'm going to close my hand, but I'm just going to touch it. It's almost like I'm reaching out to grab something off of the bag. As the hand goes in, it closes. Now, if you try to start punching the bag when you're doing this, what's going to happen is that hand will not be closed and you're going to jam it into the bag and break your fingers. Let's not do that. So we're just going to lightly do that, do that, do that. I'm just flicking it, okay? And so once I'm comfortable with that, now we can do a combination. So now we can do that, and then I'm going to follow it up, starting with an open hand, with a right. But I'm not trying to knock a guy out the bar. I'm just trying to touch the bag right now. So pop, 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 bang. I know that's kind of slow, but I'm trying to stay in camera. Boom, move, boom, boom, move. Right. All right. Even a very light tap is going to move the bag around. Open hand, hand combo. So that's your warm-up recipe, is to just start and tap it and tap it and tap it. It doesn't seem like much and you don't feel like you're doing anything, but trust me, that's where the exercise comes in. And it moves your hands with your feet. Okay, second point, or add-on point to that, is if you just want to do it open-handed, which is fine, same workout, easier on your hands, you can do this with your palms. You can just push. So we're not beating up an opponent, we're just trying to get some exercise and get our heart rate up on the bag. We can just push it this way, and that way your hands won't hurt as much. From a defensive standpoint, it's also a very good tool to have, and I like things that do more than one thing. I only have one thing in my garage that only serves one purpose, and that's a fire extinguisher. Everything else better serve at least two purposes, or I don't want it. So these techniques serve two purposes. One, they're good exercise, and also they're great if somebody's trying to rape you in a dark alleyway or something like that. So let's go with the open hand, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with just a touch. So I have to focus now on my stance, shoulder width, planted firmly, just like a football player, so that if I get hit with something, I don't move. Let's do that again. I'm going to stand flat foot and get hit. Let's hope this doesn't hurt. Oh. Okay, that's no good. Now let me get my plant in. Now I'm not out here like Jackie Chan. I'm just shoulder width, hips drop, spine straight, hands up, fighting stance. All right, so we'll do it again with this. We're going to do it with a fighting stance. All right. And I'm a small guy. I'm 6 foot tall. I weigh about 135. I'm a bantamweight fighter, so I'm easy to move around. But even with this big bag, just with planting your feet down and dropping your hips, you're going to be able to maintain that advantage of not getting pushed around. So we'll take that, and now we'll say, all right, let's just do some open hand stuff. Well, I can really And as the bag is moving, I'm moving because I don't want to be where the bag thinks I'm going to be. So I just lightly jab, open hand, jab it, and come in with the left. What you'll notice though is after this jab, where does this hand go when I go for that hardcore big hand punch? It's coming back here. So remember, we're going back to our periscope or our hide now. We're just up here, we're up here, we're up here, we're up here, boom. Now I can still see through it. My hand is up on my head. So worst case scenario, I just tip my head down. You got nothing to punch but here. But I'm really protecting myself right here. Whether it's from a cross or a hook, or an overhand, even if my hand is out here, I'm still protected until I can get back to this position. Once again, that depends on whether you're just using the bag for exercise or whether you want it to also double as some self-defense type training. And that's up to you. I'm not trying to sell either one. I'm just saying that you can do it for both. So now we can go to just open hand, pushing, and pushing, and pushing, and then we move. Now I can just switch to southpaw. And you can spend a few hours doing that too until you get real comfortable with it. And once you've done all of that and you are comfortable with it, then you'll want to start punching the bag, because that's why we're here, right? I want to punch things. I want to hit a bag. Well, me too, because it's a lot of fun. Once we've warmed up, do not hit the bag ever, ever, ever. You will see this again on the test. Do not ever, ever, ever hit the bag until you have warmed up. You start punching the bag with a closed fist, using the very same fundamentals that we've just talked about. Hands are up, except now they're closed. Very, very tight. All right? And we're going to stick them up on side our head like we're, that's a bad joke and I shouldn't do that. So now we're up here. Then we assume the same stance, which is shoulder width. Drop your base and get really comfortable being upright, just like a football player. And just stick your hands on the top of your head. If you're not sure where they should be, just stick them here, like a magnet. It'll be fine. All right? And then we're going to start assuming that the bag is attacking us. So from up here, I'm peeking through my gloves, which I don't have, and we're just going to touch it. And I'm moving. But it's up and down. It's not this. It's this. Get off the X. Punch and move. It's better exercise for your legs. It's better movement for you. It's like doing a dance with the bag. And then we can speed it up just a little bit so that now, instead of just ranging and touching the bag, now I know where the bag is. All right? So now I'm going to start tagging the bag and moving and then crossing it over with different punches. And you'll figure out which ones you like. Some people, let's say I'm Iron Mike Tyson, he would come in low and then give you this jab, this left jab, and then feint with the right, and then come up with a couple of left hooks that put down 50 guys. Evander Holyfield, big right cross guy. But I'm still not hitting the bag that hard. We're just tapping it at this point. So we move. All All right, jab, 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 cross, jab, jab, cross, jab, jab, cross. Very simple. And then as you get more comfortable with that, you can really start going into your more advanced type punches, still hitting it very lightly, but your more advanced punches, which would be a jab, a jab, a jab. And remember, this is a bag, it's not a person, so you can slow this way down. Jab, jab. Well, now I want to do an uppercut. Well, I'm based here, very firmly planted, so I can, and once again, pickies, I just drop down and come up. And you can do that. My hand goes back to protect my head, and come up, down, up, down, up. Well, now I can move. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I realize I'm going fast here, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm trying to pack a lot into a very short video. The last thing that I'm going to show you is kind of an introduction to working with the bag, is the moving bag. And this one for me is probably the most fun because it really gets me hopping around. And it's a great exercise, and you really don't have to punch anything, but you're getting a lot of workout for your money just moving around. And essentially all you have to do, since we've got Mr. Sandman here, who, you know, he looks like that guy who's still at the bar at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's talking shit about my wife. Well, what's it going to take to put him out? Just one overhand right? Well, that's no fun. Well, let's say he's not. Let's just get the bag moving. And so now, instead of focusing on punching, what we're going to focus on is leg work. So once again, we're doing our little Charleston shuffle. And it can be fancy if you want it to be fancy, but it doesn't have to be. This is hard enough as it is, just doing the shuffle that I'm doing, because we're not punching anything yet, right? We're just staying out of the way of the bag. But what if I want to work in punching on top of that? Well, all right, that's going to get a little bit harder. And so what we're going to do is we're going to dance in a circle. And I don't know if you can see this or not on the video, I can't tell. But I'm swinging this straight. It's not going in a circle. I'm just going to push it straight up and back. Okay, not even a big one, just let it swing. And what we're going to do is give it a jab and step aside, and give it a jab, and no matter what it's doing, I'm always going to be on the opposite edge of it. Even if it's going away, that's okay, I'm still touching it. Okay? So now we're going to speed that up in a real time. So all I'm doing is just scooting. We're not even hitting the bag very hard. I'm just scooting my legs around, staying out of range, giving my legs a little bit of a workout. You're not trying to win a fight against the bag. You're just following it around so that you're constantly moving back and forth, staying with the bag, and giving it little pops. And down the road, if you really want to get into how to dig into it and, you know, make some damage, I guess we can talk about that then, but just as warm-up exercise type stuff, that's about as hard as you're ever going to hit this bag. And then you just make it move around, and if you want to, you can do that. You can make it swing in a circle, and you can chase it, because that makes you move in, move out, move in, come around, go to southpaw, sorry, that one was for me. And that's fun too, and I'm sorry, this floor is full of sawdust, so it's really slippery right now. But that's just a good, easy, work your way in, not too intimidating workout on the heavy bag. And don't be afraid to just have fun with it. If you want to move it around a little bit, you can do that. If you want to swing it in a circle, you can do that. Wrap your hands if you want to. And if you need to, I can show you how to do that, although I'm sure there's videos on YouTube about that. Or if you just want to wear gloves, I would recommend very light gloves. MMA gloves, the 4 ounce. Hang on. Dogs haven't eaten. These, not the big boxing gloves, all right? So not these. These are 8 ounce gloves. And if you put these on, they look great. It looks like you're Evander Holyfield and you feel like you can punch the world apart and you're gonna hurt your hands. This is a false sense of security. When we're working on the heavy bag, we're going to use these. These are 4 ounce MMA gloves. And what these are going to do for us, I guess the dog did chew those up. What they're going to do for us is just give you a little bit of padding for your knuckles so that you don't harm your hand, but you're still going to feel it so that you don't start really wailing. Don't do that. Sorry, I'm being silly. It's early. The sun's coming up. You don't want to do that. That puts a lot of undue stress on your knuckles, on your wrist, on your elbow. It doesn't add anything to your exercise. If you're going to practice that for self-defense, then do it for that purpose. But we don't do this all the time. We're working on the bag. We're not just overhand. Yeah, I'm a nerd, I know. Sorry, it's early and I'm cracking myself up. But don't do that. Just let the bag swing, tap at it, get comfortable with it. And the main thing is to just go for about 5 or 10 minutes, get your heart rate up, make sure you keep your hands up. We don't want to do this, ever. We're not keeping our hands down. We're not doing this. We're not throwing haymakers. We're not redneck women from Mississippi in the bar. Ooh, bad joke. Hands up, base. Punch, get back. Punch, get back. Punch, move. Punch, move. Punch.